It's the Sports Kings. Sports Kings. He might fall off the wagon in the next 10 minutes. And Rob Calloway.
It's about bringing talent. It's not about all the flash and glitz and glam.
Not your average sports talk show.
The Sports Kings.
This is NFL legend, Work Done.
This your boy D. Howard, a.k.a. Superman.
I'm Jerome Bettis, the Bus.
It's Cam Newton. Holla at your boy, already.
This is Hank Aaron, and I'm down with the King.
Tell a friend, Kings is back.
And we are back. Happy Thursday to you and yours. Sports Kings Live being heard via Spreaker.com and also iHeartRadio.com. Rob Calloway here with you. Yeah, man. One day until the weekend. Oh, not much has happened since we last joined you yesterday, or since you last joined us yesterday. Us being Rob Calloway and Big Mike being out. So, how was your day? Let's start with that. Mine was so-so. Of course, I was out there on the slave ship today, doing what I do. Meanwhile, someone had the great idea to put together, and this is something up my alley. I can't even lie. Somebody put together a banner to fly over Patriots training camp. And if you haven't seen it, the banner says, "Cheaters, look up." And so I guess the group responsible for this is Jetspan Media. I guess that's who it is. NewYorkJetsfans.com. This thing is going to be like the never-ending story. Deflategate, that is. And don't forget, you can reach us via social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, at Sports Kings Live, also via email, sportskingslive@gmail.com. But this thing is crazy. I was reading earlier today that the NFLPA and Tom Brady had filed an injunction to have his 4-game suspension overturned. And they filed it in Minnesota. Why did they file it in Minnesota? Well, look, your guess is as good as mine, originally. Because I was like, this makes no sense. But then, I started thinking about it. I was like, okay, well, I know a few of these other cases from the NFL that have gone to federal court have been in different places, like Minnesota. So I was just thinking, well, maybe that's just where they do it. But then as I read a little further, the story said that Roger Goodell, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, and the league filed their own motion within federal court to have the suspension upheld. But they filed it in New York. Why did they file it in New York instead of Minnesota? Okay, here you go. Well, the NFL is in New York. They operate out of New York. The New England Patriots, however, don't play in Minnesota. That's not what Tom Brady, that's not where his place of business is. So the federal courts have said that it should have been filed in Massachusetts, which is correct. But why did they file it in Minnesota? Well, they filed it in Minnesota because they were trying to have this thing, they were going to try to use the whole Adrian Peterson thing, and because that's where Peterson's ruling came in, and that the Players Association, that they've had some victories when filing in places like Minnesota, that's why they wanted to do it that way instead of going, I guess, to the right place, if that's what you want to call it. But it's unbelievable. I mean, because I was talking yesterday about feeling like the Patriots are playing games or they play stupid and want folks to feel sorry for them or whatnot. But they know what they're doing. Now, I'm just trying to figure out, and I'm sure at some point tonight I'll sit down and keep reading and figure out how they were going to try to tie this whole Adrian Peterson thing in. That's weird. I could go on and on about, Brady and this whole Deflategate thing, but the God honest truth is, I know a lot of people care about this, but I don't. Just to be honest with you, I don't care. Okay? If you listened yesterday, you know I made it very clear right here that I have not an ounce of love for the New England Patriots, not as a football team, because I think they do exceptionally well, or they have done exceptionally well as a football team, even though there's some cheating that has been implicated. But my biggest thing is, they get caught with red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar and look up like, what? What did I do? What do we do? That's my problem. And that there have been times that, even Roger Goodell has been guilty of being on the wrong side, and that being the New England Patriots side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did he or did he not destroy the Spygate tapes? Did he? Or did he not? Exactly. So it's not like they haven't had the right people in their pockets, but at some point, the chickens are going to come home to roost. Cheaters, look up. That's what the banner said. Hey, cheaters, look up. I think that was a classic move. I can't even lie. Getting the banner flown over the training camp. Oh yeah, that was great. I just wonder if the Patriots are going to respond like this. If this is going to be like Drake and Meek Mills. Meek Mills, fire shots first. Then Drake comes back to back. And Meek Mills hasn't said anything. I wonder if it's going to be like that. No, I'm playing. I'm playing. But seriously, when is enough enough? I'm just, you just don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out when is enough enough. When it comes to this whole legal defense, because the NFLPA actually pays for this legal defense. It's not like it's coming out of Brady's pocket. How much money are they really going to spend on Tom Brady? I get who he is. I get what he means to the team. I get what he means to the league. He's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, because he is. Arguably. And, I don't want to be like Scotty and Shaq, get into hypotheticals, but, arguably, he is the greatest quarterback. And I get it. But at some point, as I said yesterday, you got to LIG, you got to let it go. For the betterment of the team, for the betterment of the league, for the betterment of everybody, just let it go. Ugh. All right. Well, that's that. Moving right along. That's all I had to say about that. That's the end of the Patriots conversation for now. So if that's what you came for, there you have it, and you can go ahead and tune on out. I take that back. Roger Goodell is winning right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unheard of. And maybe that might be the most shocking part out of all of this, is that right now he's winning. All right, that's enough. All right, Rob, that's enough. Okay, so, we've been talking about Russell Wilson and this whole contract situation where they're saying that he's asking for an average of $25 million per year, which would make him the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. And the team is, from what I've heard, offered $20 million a year. And so, Monday, he said that he had a deadline of Friday. And if the deal wasn't done by Friday, then it wouldn't be done, for a minute. But this is crazy because now I do want to clear something up. With this being the final year of Russell Wilson's contract, he's actually making $1.54 million, which was double his salary from last year, which was the $749,000 that I kept talking about, or that I've talked about when I mentioned it. But it's actually double this year. So it's 1.54. So actually, he and Tavares Jackson are making just about the same amount of money, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, his deadline is tomorrow, or the self-imposed deadline. The team reported to training camp today. Practice begins tomorrow, and so it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not Seattle and Russell Wilson come to an agreement. But I'm just, okay, as much as in favor of Russell Wilson as I am, I don't know if Russell Wilson is really worth $25 million a year. I could be mistaken. But I don't know. I don't know if this is one of those things where he might want too much. I get that he's been to back-to-back Super Bowls, but I'm saying if you could get in the neighborhood of Aaron Rodgers, okay, very good. Because he and Ben Roethlisberger are right up there. But I get it, because when you look at the list, because we went over the list the other day, I get it. Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, they're right up there as well. And neither one of those guys have even whiffed the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan kind of, but we lost in the NFC Championship, or the Falcons lost in the NFC Championship. So, This is going to be tough, and maybe they'll work it out. Maybe they'll work it out while we're on the air, and then we can talk about it right here. Maybe they'll do that. But $25 million, it's a little steep. It's a little steep, and if nothing else, I think it hand-ties the Seahawks organization from being able to make moves that they might need to make next year or the year after that. Do you really put all of this money into all of this money? And he wants around $64 million guaranteed, $65 million guaranteed on a 4-year deal with the 5th-year option. So I don't know. And I guess you pay him for what he's already done. Is that how you want to look at it? Or if that is how you want to look at it, is that safe to say, well, he did put this work in, so let's roll with this? Look, good thing I'm not a general manager. I've said that for years. Good thing I'm not a general manager, because, man, my fan base might be mad at me, because in times like this, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be willing to pull the trigger. Seattle does have a pretty nice defense, and I don't think they get to the Super Bowl without that defense, do they?